Welcome back to Rolling Review, where you talk about all things nerdy and awesome. I'm Jim, and welcome back to another game review. I'm not sure whether to call this an early access game review, for the game is not in early access, or what. I will probably do a fuller game review when the game comes out, as you can see from the title. The game I'm talking about is Humankind. So Humankind just had its Victor Open Dev Beta run. So we got an insight into what the game is becoming, what it will become. So if you haven't seen what Humankind is, it's another 4X game. It really takes, in my opinion, kind of a fresh take on a 4X game. That the probably the biggest one out there being Civilization, and really changes how everything is done into a way that really is enjoyable to play from start to end. Unlike Civilization, you don't start with a warrior and a settler, and you start off as a nomadic tribe. You collect food, you collect little bits of scientific inquiry, or fight animals and gather food. One of your units gains 20 food, it spawns another unit, and in that you can either split them off to explore a wider range of space, or you can have them together to take out down bigger game like a mammoth, which I think basically gives you another unit just for killing it. Eventually you have them set up outposts, and when you've completed a task or multiple of the tasks, because it's kind of easy to complete all of those early ones at roughly the same time, that you then move on from a nomadic tribe to an ancient civilization. You choose what type of civilization you want to be then, from a list of it, like Assyrians, Babylonians, Harappans, I think is how you say it. It's the Indus Valley people who just kind of disappeared at some point in history. But once you've done that, you can take one of your outposts, make it a city, build your city. You can only have so many cities at a time, so what you end up doing is having a few cities, and then the outposts around it to kind of help feed the major cities. And it is really fun. I mean, the open dev beta that they just did, playing on the same map, you start at the same spot. But even that was interesting, just trying to find different play styles using different civilizations throughout the history of your country, because you're not really choosing a civilization like in the game Civilization. You are the Romans, or the Spanish, or the Japanese, or the Chinese, or the Nubians, or whatever it is. Instead, you are playing a unique civilization, and then when you hit those eras, you take a culture that really benefits you in the way you want it to benefit you, because at the next era you can take a totally different culture while keeping some of what the previous culture gave you. So like a scientific culture will leave behind a relic of that, and even if you go more towards a militaristic or economic culture after your scientific one, you will still gain a scientific benefit from having that culture and having progressed through that culture. It's a lot of fun. It's so different. There's so much to talk about, which is why I'll probably give a bigger, better review when the full game comes out. As it sits right now, basically, like, you get rewarded, you complete goals no matter which way you're trying to play, because inevitably you'll research some science, or you'll make some money, make some influence, but no matter which way you're going to complete goals by doing that thing, whether you're just trying to make a shit ton of money and you complete a bunch of goals in money, complete a bunch of goals in influence or science, and then you fill out the rest to progress. The battles are different in a good way, in that you stack your units and make your army. Early on, it's like 4 units together, and as you get research, it expands to 5 or 6 or more units. And the interesting thing is, when you have your 2 armies, when they butt heads, it's not just like Civ, where it's just like a super basic calculation. You fight, you both lose health, or you lose a little health, they lose all their health, and they disappear. No, it actually breaks down into a bigger battle on that landscape, where your army will split into its individual units, their army will split into its individual units, and you control each individual unit to attack, which means you can and should have a wide variety of troops in every army. It's not like Civ, where you put 2 musketmen together to make a corps, and 3 must come in together to make your army, and there you go. You just shove it at people. No, you want some warriors, maybe a horse unit, maybe a pikeman, definitely a ranged unit, because as you run into another army, they're also going to have a wide variety of units, and you're going to want to use the strategy of unit types against each other, focusing down certain units, deciding whether you want to be on the offensive and attack if you have a good position and a superiority of numbers, or if you are in a spot where it's better for you to defend, you can sit there and defend and get a combat bonus for being in defense and them attacking you. Combat is so much more interesting than just the basic, like, let's just ram people into each other. The adjective I enjoy using for this game is it's fluid. It's not so hard-nosed that you are one thing and you have to stay and do this one thing and be good at this one thing. But as time goes on and the needs of your civilization change, your civilization can change because that's how you're guiding it. Now, I will say, there are a few things that need improvement, because any early access open beta game needs improvement. If it didn't need improvement, it would be on full release. So here are a few things kind of sourced from Reddit. I posted on Reddit on the Humankind the game subreddit, and some other people chimed in with things that they also would like to see. But my main thing was, when you go to war and you win battles and you take cities, you increase your war support and decrease the enemies. When it hits 0, you can force them to surrender, and in that forced surrender screen, you can make them give up territories. However, in that screen, there's no way to tell what territory is which, because at that point, it kind of locks you out of all the rest. And even when you go in, because say you take a city and they've attached 3 different outposts with it, you have control over all 4 of these territories. I really haven't found a way to look at what's the name of those territories because it does not go by the city name. It would be super helpful if in that screen they added in a zoom to button where you look at this territory name and you can just zoom to it so you know exactly what you're going to do, instead of like, I'll choose this one, and this one. And no, I just, like, that's not going to work. I did that once and it gave me the territory right in the middle of their country, now surrounded by the enemy. It's like, well, that's a really shitty place to be now, isn't it? Either a zoom to button or a map to show you which ones you're choosing would be super helpful. To that point, as Happy Turtle Owl said on Reddit, because I'll give credit to people, Happy Turtle Owl, this is for you. In the diplomacy screen, when you're looking at luxury resources and strategic resources, they already have something like this where you can click on it, and it shows you where the territory is and the route the trade route will take. So there's no reason why they can't implement it. And I agree. It's something that just needs to happen. Another thing with that at the end of a war is that they can demand territory back immediately after and get a grievance through the grievance system. And then if you deny that grievance, they gain war support and basically the ability to immediately declare war on you. So you have beaten down the enemy. You have forced them to surrender. You get peace. And then they turn around and declare war on you right again. Which, in one case, it's like, well, I'm just going to beat you again. I beat you once. And literally no time has passed. I'm just going to beat you again. At the same time, like, it doesn't make sense that someone is going to immediately turn around and do that. One, they haven't gained any troops, any support. Even when you look at historical countries that have fought back and forth, even after surrenders and peace deals and all of that, or just horrible defeats, there's always a time of going back, gathering forces, and then coming back. And this is just like, peace? No, war. It's like, come on, that's dumb. Another thing that needs to be fixed was there, in a few instances, I got caught in a battle forever. Before you go, no, you just need to end your turn. I'm not talking about when you start a battle, you and your opponent get 3 rounds of attack or defend and movement, a turn, and then you end. After that 3 is done, you do all the rest of the stuff in your civilization, end your turn, and then you restart again. No, I had this moment where I was defending a spot, enemy unit came up, attacked me, confirmed placement, and it was like confirming enemy's placement. Yeah, it was confirming placement for like an hour. I actually went to go eat dinner in the middle of it because I was like, well, I can't do anything. Like, I X out of that battle, and I was like, where you would end your turn. It had the symbol for, no, oh, you have a battle to handle. Okay, I clicked that, went right back to it, and still waiting. So, it was an issue. I got stuck in that. Probably a minor bug. It only happened once, but it's something to look at. It's a bug to patch. The other thing, religion was fairly static. And I thought with how well the rest of the game flows and progresses, that religion would flow and progress a little bit more. Yes, you get to choose things like benefits to add to your religion, but for instance, you get the choice of shamanism or polytheism. There was never a move from polytheism towards monotheism, which is how things generally progressed. We see it not only in holy books like the Bible, but also just in our study of ancient civilizations, you know, before Abraham and the Abrahamic religions and the monotheism there. They lived in an area of polytheism and generally believed in a polytheistic manner. It became monotheistic, and it just felt like you choose polytheism or shamanism, and that's it. There you go. Moving on. And you can just make it better, but it never really progressed, which I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. With how else everything kind of ebbs and flows, it felt a little weak. To end on a happy note, I will say, one thing I appreciated greatly that Civ does not have, because a lot of these games end up meaning you conquer someone for resources or land or whatever. This game lets you make a vassal state of someone else. If you take out a civilization and you force them to surrender, you can force them to be a vassal state. And that was wonderful. Civ doesn't have it. I swear Civ used to have it. Maybe not. Maybe they got rid of it. Maybe play a lot of games. Maybe I'm thinking of another 4X game. It was kind of great just to be like, oh, I'm invading my neighbor because they have iron. I don't have iron. I need iron. So I invade them. I take over. Then I just make them be my vassal state. I get access to all their stuff, so I'm going to take the iron anyway. But one, I don't have to worry about all that crap. Two, I was basically maxed at the number of cities I could have as it was, and then taking on 3 more cities from another civilization. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm going to have to absorb a bunch of these cities. This is going to suck. And I was like, oh no. I'll just make them a vassal. It'll be perfect. I can control my stuff, upgrade things with the iron, and they're just going to be my vassal. It'll be great. So, I really enjoyed that about the game. Right now, I think the release date for Humankind is August 17th of this year. If all of this and all the videos you can find out there of Humankind look really interesting, pick it up, grab it. For this open dev, it was for people who had pre-ordered the game. Between now and August, there could definitely be another open dev beta. So if you pre-order, get in on the next one, help them figure out the bugs in the game. That'd be great. But it's definitely a game to look forward to. Definitely a game that, if put out right and they fix some of the things and they improve it a little bit more, could give Civ a run for its money. I love all these games, but I would be really interested to see that happen, because then maybe the next Civ game steps it up another notch to try to compete with this, and that's only better for us gamers, because if they're stepping up their game, they're making their game better to compete with another one that just outshone it. Like, we're going to get better games. Games start getting boring and suck when they basically just repeat the same process over and over again, which is why so many people got sick of Call of Duties forever, because they basically were the same game. Even now, Battle Royale games, I know they're very popular. They're getting kind of boring. MMOs got boring. They're all basically the same kind of thing. Loot grinder games are moving out of the way because they've gotten boring. So if we have this competition in the 4X category, I think it will really help them step these games up for our enjoyment, and we're gonna get a lot a lot of good games from it. So anyway, if you did play this, let me know what you thought of this game. Be really interesting to hear what you thought of this game, what you saw wrong, what you thought they did right. I know I'm leaving a bunch of stuff out. There'll be a fuller review about how this game actually works at full release on or around August 17th. The review won't be out August 17th, but I'll start working on it then. But anyway, I will see you guys later. Okay. Yep. It's what I wanted. There we go. Yeah. There you are.